How's it going, everybody? Non-spoiler review of the Blue Beetle. That's right, Blue Beetle, directed by Angel Manuel Soto. It is the new Warner Brothers film, DC, and I guess one of the last, like Aquaman 2 will be the last DCU, so we really don't know where this kind of lands. We do know that the character of Jaime Reyes is going to be continued on into the DCU, as said by James Gunn. Okay, so I did my out-of-the-theater reaction. And this movie, kind of going into it, like I said, I have had the opportunity and the pleasure of being able to sit down and talk with Xolo Mariduena since he was like 17 years old, doing Cobra Kai and all this. And I've been a fan of his for a very long time. And he's great on Cobra Kai. And then when he was cast in this role, I was like, yeah, this is a kid who's got a lot of charisma and could really carry a movie. And I'm happy to say he does. He's so likable in this role of Jaime Reyes. And what I've said, and I'll kind of reiterate it in this review, the stuff this reminds me a lot of Ms. Marvel in the fact, not necessarily the story itself, but the family dynamic. And what was more interesting to me with Ms. Marvel was the stuff that was working with the family and the emotional connections that were made throughout the and I think this was the same thing. And honestly, I think this is even more of an accomplishment, as much as I think Ms. Marvel is great. But they did this in about 2 hours. And Ms. Marvel had the opportunity to space it out over the course of a television show. They connect you to the family. The dynamic in the family it really works, and there's a good emotional level to it, and it's not generic, and you believe it, and there's some emotional moments there. Not all the humor works, but the humor works enough where there's some really sweet moments and cute moments, and the dynamic between brother and sister and mother and son and mother and daughter and uncle and everything. It just works together, and it shows you how important the bond of family is. That's the stuff to me, and there were so many incredible performances. And I will say, one of the performances that stood out to me the most, Bruna Marquezina. I had really never seen her before, and she plays the love interest in this film, and her chemistry with Xolo works tremendously. She plays the niece of Susan Sarandon, and she's trying to discover what's going down with the Scarab, which is essentially the entire plot of the movie. The Scarab, very similar to, like, I keep mentioning this, and I guess it's like a niche thing, but I thought everybody knew about the Guyver, and it reminded me of, like, the Guyver reminded me of Venom. There's like hints of Spider-Man and all that stuff, and it's the Scarab chooses, very similar to Venom, like who they want to occupy, and it's this alien thing, and it picks Jaime Reyes. Now, the stuff that worked the least for me, very similar, as I was saying with Ms. Marvel, was the superhero stuff. Not that it didn't work at all. It just, we're at a place now with an inundation of superhero movies throughout the years that nothing seems really fresh when it comes to superhero movies. Like, we've seen it already. We've seen it. It's fun. It works as far as that goes. It's entertaining. But it's not like, oh, that's a new angle to it. It's the stuff that I was waiting more so to see. Let me have some more moments with Xolo and Bruna. Let me have some more moments with the family. And anytime I got those, I was satisfied. The Susan Sarandon and the two villains, the Susan Sarandon and her henchman, that stuff was pretty generic, kind of by the book. I think that it was Greg Alba from Real Rejects that said that this feels like a Marvel Phase 1 movie, and I think that's accurate. I think that it does. I think that there's stuff inside of it that, I mean, for the most part, this movie really works on the dynamic of the emotional level. But the things that didn't work for me were some of the jokes, like, fell flat. There's a few moments that they were trying to go for this kind of crass. It was like a crash joke that happened in the hotel, and I was like, it didn't work. There was a couple other times that there was a bounce back and forth that didn't work, and then there was other times that the humor really worked. As you saw in the trailer, the grandma bit with the blaster plays a little Power Rangery, and she, though, was fantastic. And of course, she's played by the great Adriana Barraza, and she's fantastic in the role again. But when it comes to the stuff that worked, was the stuff inside the family dynamic. And part of that is George Lopez, who plays Uncle Rudy, and having George Lopez in there definitely adds a lot to it. And I thought he did a really good role. And the people who were going nuts over the Batman as a fascist thing, it adds into his character. It's not the entire family that feels this way. He's a conspiracy theorist, and he's everything. He blames everybody for everything, and he has these outrageous takes. So it plays into his character. So if you're concerned about that and you're worried about that, it's a one throwaway joke by this kind of very paranoid character, and I thought Lopez did a great job. It was once we got to the superhero stuff and the things that you've just seen a million times over, I was like, okay, popcorn, fun. But I think what makes this movie special is the emotional moments that you get connected to, because when there are moments of embarrassment with the family, you feel it, you relate. When there's moments of happiness and joy, you feel it. When there's moments of sadness, you feel it because you're invested. And the story of the Scarab of taking over, and they want the technology, and it's like, yeah, okay, sure. I guess for Blue Beetle fans that love the comics and love it, that's what you want. And I guess that if you want that, you get it. I just guess as the casual movie fan, you've just seen this stuff so many different times. But the question is, does the movie have heart? And the answer is yes. I think this is a movie that people should support and should go and check out. To me, I would go 3.6 out of 5 schmoes. How about that? 3.6 out of 5 schmoes for Blue Beetle. But the question is, for you guys, are you going to see this in the theaters? Are you going to wait? What say you? Let me know. I got to know your thoughts, please. And if you're brand new to the channel, you've never been here before, we're approaching 90,000, but we're getting to that road, man. 100,000, and we need you guys to join. So hit that button. We got a lot of different things. We have long form, short form, out of the theater reactions, movie reviews, the whole 9. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you. See you on the flip side. Bye. Oh, the music's really good too, by the way. The score is fantastic. Have to mention that. I love the score in this.